So I'm going to go through the 3 main reasons that people fail with money. And if you're listening to this, you are very likely to have these issues because this is very common and this is very common to the everyday person. And so I want to make sure that it's abundantly clear that if you are listening to this and that you don't take action after this video, that is going to be very concerning for your financial future. So let's walk through exactly the 3 main reasons that people fail with money and how to overcome those exactly. So number 1 is they don't know what they don't know. And so a lot of people are going through life thinking they're okay or thinking they're good compared to their peers. And that's a horrible benchmark. To associate your benchmark with the average person out there is horrendous because the average person is in debt up to their eyeballs and isn't financially free or even close to sniffing financial freedom. And so 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. That's a major concern. Here are a few examples that show you that people don't know what they don't know, because if they knew this, they wouldn't do it. So number 1, as you can see on the screen, people do not understand investment fees and how much this impacts them. I have this on a daily basis come into my DMs and ask me for help, and they're scared that I'm even charging a dollar amount when in fact they're choosing to spend more by not knowing what they don't know. And so for example, on the screen, as you can see, we have a $30,000 annual contribution or $2,500 a month, expecting a 10% annual rate of return. Now, if you don't understand fees and you use a financial advisor or you don't understand which investments to pick, you are likely going to experience at least on average a 1.5% annual fee. If you compound that over a 30-year period, you will grow this account to 5.4 million. Sounds good. However, here's the kicker, is you lose $1.385 million in fees. So your actual net balance is actually only 4 million. Again, not bad, but you lost a quarter of your wealth because you don't know what you don't know. And you decided to pay the fees over the long run versus just simply paying an upfront fee to educate yourself. And this is why I explain to people that they're spending way more by opting out of Budgetdog Academy than just being smart, paying the fee up front and fixing this for a lifetime. But people are cheap and you can't help everybody. But the smart ones know to invest in education early on, because when you invest in yourself, you get smarter, you get better, and you have better results long term. So the other piece is people wait to invest and they think it's okay. They don't think it necessarily hurts them, so they just wait and wait and wait until the right time. And just so you know, there is not a right time. And the longer you wait, the more money that you cost yourself. Let me give you an example as you see on the screen right now. So let's say the same exact example. On a monthly contribution basis, you're putting $2,500 a month towards your investment goals. And you do this for 30 years, so $30,000 a year. And at historical market returns, you're going to generate $4.9 million, almost $5 million by doing this today, starting right now for the next 30 years. However, what if you adjust this by 5 years? Let's say you don't have a good financial plan, and therefore you're missing a ton of cash flow on a monthly basis. My average student saves an extra $24,000 per year. So put that in perspective. That's my average student. So think about somebody that's in the higher end, even when I have people north of $60,000 extra per year they're finding, and then apply that to their investments. But let's just say you take your time. You don't have the right cash flow. You don't have the right system. You're just taking your time to pay off your debt. It feels like it's taking forever. Those types of people out there that they're, I can't figure it out, but they're afraid to pay for help. Then they go on with this long journey of not being able to invest because they aren't efficient. And they spend 5 years trying to figure this out before they even get to the investment part. Guess how much that cost them? $2 million. So if you want to spend $2 million of losses because you're afraid to educate yourself and pay for education up front, be my guest. But if you're smart, you know what to do. Then another common example of many that I see is not understanding the tax game. People do not understand taxes whatsoever. It is very clear to me that people don't understand this by the questions they ask. And that's okay. There's no shame in that. But this is why you pay for a professional to help you. So with not understanding tax, I'm going to give you a small example that will apply to many people. So people invest in stocks, bonds, REITs, all these types of different investment classes, but they invest in the wrong types of accounts. And most of them don't even know the difference between asset class and investment account, investment product. They're already confused by just me talking about that, which is an extreme concern for their well-being long-term. But if you don't understand this, and let's say, for example, somebody uses a REIT to invest, you hear the real estate investment trusts are great investments, which they are, but you are in, let's say, the 24% tax bracket, and you take that REIT and you put it in a taxable brokerage account versus a Roth IRA, for example. Your 24% ordinary income tax rate is what you're taxed at on the earnings of the REIT. 90% of earnings go back to the investors within a REIT, and therefore it's an unqualified dividend, and you're paying an unfavorable tax amount at your ordinary income tax amount. That is atrocious. Versus if you literally move that investment to a Roth IRA, you would save 24% in taxes. Now, let's say you have $1 million right there. $1 million times 24% is $240,000 you're missing. But not only that, it's the compounded effect of opportunity cost loss. Not only did you lose that $240,000, but how that compounds in the future, you even lost that on top of that. So you are costing yourself well into 6 figures, if not 7 figures, by that simple move. This happens all the time, unfortunately. So that's the number one issue, is they don't know what they don't know. And just a few examples I threw out there. But number two is they don't believe believe that they can become wealthy. And so it's really helpful for you to see somebody like yourself actually build wealth. And so I talk all the time and I relate to a lot of people, especially W-2 workers earning over $100,000, because that was me. And in fact, when I was at my W-2, I was only earning $96,000 at the max when I was at Deloitte. I started off at $50,000. I ended at $96,000 before I went full-time with Budgetdog. And my wife was also earning anywhere from $32,000 all the way up to $90,000 by the time she ended her W-2 days. So we were making anywhere from, let's call it $82,000 all the way up to about $180,000 during our W-2 days. And we still became millionaires with that. We did have some side hustle income, about $10,000 to $25,000 for a couple years there, which we were doing under the table, don't tell the IRS, but we did have additional income on top of that. However, we weren't making an abnormal amount of money. We just learned and educated and then applied the education to our life. And so a lot of people can't relate or can't figure out how to do this because they've never seen somebody like themselves do it. And that's why I'm able to get people over that hump, because I came from no background of financial education. My parents didn't teach me. I didn't even know anything about financial education until around 22, 23 years old when I started my career. So I didn't grow up learning about education. And I will share how I lost $1 million by not knowing and by not learning earlier. Now, I was early enough, luckily 22, 23, but if I would have learned at 16, and I'll show you in this video in the top right-hand corner, I would be $1 million further ahead. Unfortunately, I'm not, and life's a lesson. So I hope you take that and learn from this mistake that I made. So the last one is they cannot see past today versus a 10-year plan. And so humans are geared to survive. And so when you're in survival mode, you always are giving into impulses short term, and you can't actually see the long-term trajectory. So what I do with every one of my students is actually build a financial roadmap so they can see that 10-year plan. But not only that, once you see the 10-year plan, that's not the end goal. The end goal is to make that into little bite-sized chunks that you can focus on to actually get the result that you're trying to get. So for example, if I know my goal for financial freedom is $3 million, I know today, let's say for example, I need to invest $3,000 a month. So that is easy to understand conceptually, but how do you actually put that into practice? You have to build a system to focus on the $3,000 a month, not the $3 million. The $3 million will come if you focus on the little bite-sized daily chunks that you're supposed to focus on. So I just posted on the Millionaire Room, today's boring moves. I did a $250 investment in my IRA and a $2,500 investment in my taxable brokerage account. Nothing crazy, but I've been doing this for a decade. And so the reason I reached financial freedom and all my students reach financial freedom with time is because they do it the boring way, the simple way, the way that works, and they focus on the step-by-step process versus the big, hairy goal. That big hairy goal can be scary. And if you don't break that down into bite-sized chunks and focus on the bite-sized chunks to accomplish those, you're not going to succeed. So the way I always roadmap everything is understand my end goal, understand all of the inputs that it takes, and then I focus on a daily basis on the actual steps that it takes to get to the big goal. So I know if I don't skip those steps, I build automation into my process and I simplify the actual big goal, the daily tasks are really easy. Now it's just repetition and automation. So most of my stuff is automated. 98% of my financial world is automated, and so are my students. When you automate that, it's just a matter of time, and you can project the time based on assumptions. So it's really easy to actually see the big picture, but also focus on the here and now and actually accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And the best thing about this is you don't have to sacrifice your lifestyle. You can live the life you want to live within reason, obviously, within your salary, as long as you're focused on those small little tiny chunks and bite-sized chunks to actually accomplish the big goal. And so that reason is why people can't get ahead, because they're constantly overspending and overstimulating themselves with the here and now and giving into those short-term impulses because they can't see the bigger picture, because they don't have a clear roadmap. So it's just, I don't think I can do this because I've never seen somebody do it like me, and therefore there's no way. But if you map this stuff out, you've seen somebody that's an average everyday Joe like myself actually do it, then you see it for yourself. Then it's just a matter of excitement and enjoyment to actually make this process come together. And this is why all my students see success. So if you're listening to this, if those 3 reasons are speaking to you, you should be signing up for Budgetdog Academy today to fix your financial problems once and for all. You can go in the show notes below and book a call with my team. It's a free call. Make sure you earn over $100,000 as a household. If you do have a spouse, make sure your spouse is present. And the goal is to actually join the academy. It's not to get more information. The more information is on the link that you click below, so you can read about it and you can DM me if you have any questions. But if you book a call, the point is to join the academy. So I want to be clear, but this is how you fix your financial situation, how we've helped over 1,500 people become financially free because we've set them on a path to actually hit that goal, and they're all hitting it one by one. So if that's you, feel free to DM me, feel free to ask me questions. I'm always here to help you guys, but make sure you're overcoming these 3 issues. Let's repeat these. Number 1 is they don't know what they don't know. Number 2 is they don't believe in themselves because they've never actually seen somebody like themselves do this, so it seems very far-fetched. And number 3 is they can't see today versus the 10-year vision because they don't actually have a clear roadmap to financial success, which is all the things that we provide to overcome these challenges that you face on a daily basis. So if you want to be the first in your family to actually fix your financial situation and not sit there and complain about your parents or the school system, we are the solution. Come to us, ask us questions, and we'll help you. With that being said, I will see everybody next Monday.